Okay, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Time for us to get into Lifestyle Daily. The show stays the AM Club. And of course, we're live on MX24. So today's Friday, so we're talking relationship. And it's good to have our couple back right here with us. Of course, Mr. and Mrs. Bennisan right here inside the studios. And today is a conversation of what to really know, what to guide yourself with, in preparing towards marriage, okay? And I'm also going to learn. Maybe I missed a step one way or the other.
You never know.
Who knows? Yes. And
never know.
It might be too late to rectify it, would it? Anyways, we'll find it.
You never know. Because again, if it's a long life journey,
yes, it is.
Then there's no time that is wasted. You can always make, I believe.
But good to have you all in the studios. You're looking all lovely. Bon accompagné. See the combination.
I always admire them. They're such a cute
Good.
How are you doing?
Oh, good.
You look good.
Thank you.
You look well.
I love the pink popping out everywhere, you know what I'm saying?
Period. I mean, period.
She's definitely in the spirit with Prof.
Yeah, we should. Oh, yes, and there's some blue happening.
And there's some blue here too.
I get free prophecy for today. Free prophecy.
Good. So we're talking about, the guidance, preparing towards marriage. What would you say would be the first thing to think of to guide you into marriage? First thing,
well, there's always the preparation. So the startup point for us Christians is having the fear of God.
Okay.
If you look at someone like Esther in the Bible, before she went before the king, she went through the spiritual protocols. She went through prayer, she went through fasting, devoting her time and service to God and the things of God. She just made sure that she was under the feet of God and she was obedient to God. That's like the number one thing, because God is the one who instituted marriage. So who then do you look up to? Who then do you seek guidance from? Who then do you seek inspiration from? It's just God from the beginning.
Prof.
Yes, it's interesting. Thank you for that insight. You see, know what marriage is about. It's about marriage. It's not boyfriend. It's not girlfriend. It's not fiancé. It's not courting. This is marriage. Unfortunately, many people prepare for wedding, but not.
Let's go there.
Marriage.
Let's go there. Let's go there. We are going there, whether you like it or not. So that's the statistics. A lot of people think about the wedding, and not the marriage.
Not the marriage itself. Because we have created a facade around wedding. So everybody wants to walk on the aisle.
Yes, and the big white gown.
Yeah.
All nice. With the ring.
I saw one lady's gown, and I felt like, wow, this. I mean, I think it was a veil. The veil had, I don't know whether it's the dad or the husband's picture on it.
Hey.
And I was like, hey,
we'll be doing the most.
Yes.
Now let's jump right into the conversation. So what are some of the communication skills that a couple have to develop before getting into marriage?
To understand that communication is not just about verbal. There is also non-verbal aspect of communication. Because to understand a woman, you need discernment, you need sensitivity. And for that to happen, you must be able to read the non-verbal communications of your partner. Because it's not everything that comes through verbal. Sometimes the person says it's okay, but it's okay really.
It's not okay.
It's not okay.
And you need to know.
You need to know and decode what that it's okay is about. But the problem is that a lot of times we don't actually listen. Communication is not complete without listening. We don't listen to understand our partner very well. We listen to respond. So whilst the person is talking, you are preparing your response. So the reason for the listening is the response to give to whatever the person is saying, but not to understand the person.
Does this go to both sides?
Both sides. It goes to both
He's
sides.
asking because this morning I confessed that I used to be a terrible listener. I used to be a terrible listener. I used to listen to answer. Yes. And so I'm with you. I used to listen to answer. And because I want to come out like, me, I know I'm articulate. I'm coming to answer you exactly the way you said it. So I'm listening to answer until, and you know, I've always said this, I've been a church girl all my life, but it took school to educate me to be able to listen, to understand instead of listening to answer.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's a very, very key point. Now, some of the things that disrupts the process of relationship is marriage is the initial stages. So we have small conflicts, we brush it under the table and we move on. And someone would say that's you ignored all the red flags.
Yeah.
How do we effectively resolve conflicts in relationships as we're preparing for marriage?
Okay, so first of all, you need to set boundaries. And setting boundaries is respecting each other, regardless of how bad it gets, how rough it gets. Because sometimes conflicts can get really messy. So having the foundation that, you know what, if we're going to do this together, we're going to respect each other. Knowing that respect is the foundation, you begin to now know how to navigate towards responding to your partner. Even if it comes out so sad, you know, whatever their expressions are, you take your time, you listen to them. Oftentimes, we equally also want to blame our partner. We don't want to really understand them. We want to blame them. So even in our expressions, we are always on the you side. You're always hurting me. You're always, you know, doing this, and I don't like that. When you can actually express how that impacts you as an individual. So instead of saying, oh, Jkd, you're always hurting me, you're always doing this, you can actually say, I feel hurt by your actions because I'm the one receiving, you know, whatever is coming. So we need to get to a place where we are not blaming each other, but I express how I genuinely feel towards you with respect.
Now, from the receiving end, I want Pro to answer.
What I would say is that I think that you just have to be honest and also admit your role in the conflict. Because sometimes it doesn't take one person to have conflict situation. It takes both. So instead of blaming, also analyze and admit that you also, yes, and take responsibility of the actions that you put in that led to the conflict. Is very, very important because a lot of time we don't want to admit. We want to just do the blame game and then be very judgmental. And also stop recording the number of times you feel hurt. You did it last month. You did it last 2 months.
To accountability. We need to bring the pink sheets so you know how many times you have done it. So you know that. So what I used to do, okay, so listen. I have a mother who forgets what her husband did to her right after the issue happened.
Okay.
Yes. Wow. Like, she's so forgiving. I told her, how did you stay in that marriage for so long? Like, what are you doing? And I am the total opposite. Like, I have to, the receipts. So that you know that all these years I've been forgiving you. This is the height of it. Yes. And that's why I used to do that. I wanted to prove so much that I am such a forgiving person. Yeah. Listen, you did it today, I forgive you. I used to do that a lot in a relationship.
But is that forgiveness in the first place?
It's not.
Because you are bringing back the old ways. And you are telling me to account for those moments. So then that means I would have to say sorry again for the old.
Yes.
Not even come to the new.
No, because the reason for bringing that up will rather be that you know that I actually forgave you. So you remember that I noticed what you did.
Yeah.
I just didn't respond because I forgave you. And I get a props for that. Not for you to apologize, but give me props for being a forgiving person.
Anyways.
But it so doesn't hold water.
Well, I mean, most times you get to hear people say that I don't want to get married.
Yeah.
And you ask a lot of questions, and maybe the person is from a place of deep hurt.
Yeah.
So then they feel like, no, I don't want to.
It's
not for me. Or secondly, probably they've seen it happen recurrently in their family. So they feel like, oh, this one, it's not it. Others also have misconceptions about marriages. you've been there. So we want to find out from you. Have you heard about some misconceptions about marriage itself? Are there some misconceptions, some myths about marriage that people feel like, hey, this is about marriage, so I just don't want to get into it?
Yes, I mean, it's a daily thing. And let me say that oftentimes people look at marriage based on their individual experiences. And so if the person's experience is horrible, the person thinks that every marriage is horrible. If the person sees marriage to be a frustrating journey, the person thinks that every marriage is like that. So based on their perception, they begin to advise everybody, be careful, watch, when you see this, it means this. When you see that, it means that. But marriage is far from that. There is no two marriages that are the same. So therefore, we have to be able to delineate the traits that come together to form a successful marital bond. Okay, it's very important. Let me say this. There are people who believe that if a man loves a woman deeply, or dinafa baby, it's a very serious myth. So therefore, you are in a marriage situation. You want to love your wife, but you are concerned about what others will say. So you have to now control your emotions and be very calculative how you express your love to your partner.
That's real, actually. That's very true.
And I name Dinafa baby, I know it's fine.
So the way I say,
Dinafa baby, I know it's it's not me worrying, no, Dinafa baby. I mean, like,
we coming down.
no, this misconception is
I don't that get to our side.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is an issue. There is also the in-law aspect, okay? When people feel that every in-law is bad and wicked, and because of that, they think that marriage is a horrible situation. But I believe that there are different kinds of in-laws. There are in-laws who will embrace you well, depending on how. But you see, once you have a misconception about in-laws, you are already going there, already with a preconceived mind. And it's going to make things difficult for you as well. So that one is also there. There is also the aspect of that the person is coming into marriage simply because of what she's looking for. Probably maybe it's a wealthy family, so they think that it's about money. That footballer, I've forgotten his name, he willed all his property, asset, money, everything to his man on the day go. Hakimi. The Hakimi principle.
I like that.
They think that the person is coming simply because of what she's looking for. And therefore you are in the marriage, but then very suspecting of your spouse or your partner. I don't think marriage should be.
But what would be the guideline to people who feel that way, who have that misconception, and genuinely want to get married?
What you have to do is that, I mean, if you watch Coming to America, he played the poor tactics, and the poor guy, just to see if the person coming really loves him. There are things that you can do to see what is in the heart of the other person. When Adam saw Eve, what did he say? He said, this is the bone of my bone. Bone is not in the outside, it's in the inside. He saw what was inside before he said, flesh of my flesh. He didn't conclude based on what is on the outside. He looked for what was inside. And oftentimes, that is where people make a mistake, because we are looking for features, not qualities.
Now, Prof, I want it from both sides. So this is coming because of the conversation you had about the money bit. So, for instance, I meet a man, I feel like this feels right, but based on my financial status or understanding of finances, I want to have a conversation about the money bit. Like, what do you think about my career? So I want to attain a certain height in life. I want to bring up my career situation. I wanted to talk about what he will make of my career path, and I discussed with him where I want to get to, try to get if he understands it, and based on his understanding or what he believes in, that would inform my decision. Is that a wrong thing to do?
let me give you an excuse. There is this friend of mine from Sweden. He's a white man. He saw a lady on his friend's status.
Okay.
And then he said, that's my wife.
No.
So he said, he requested for the lady's telephone number. They gave it to him. He just flew to Ghana, met the lady, told the lady, I want to marry you.
Wow.
That's why I came down. Now, before he left, he engaged the lady. Before he left a credit card with the lady. Buy whatever you want to buy. Do as much as you want to.
Just Oja.
Please continue.
Do whatever you want to do. It's all yours. It's in your hand.
Yeah.
And that is into my account. So do whatever. But the lady was wise. She was wise. She never used it. The man could say, you are not using the card. He said, because there is really nothing to buy. I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the man kept calling, you're not using the card. She said, yes. Okay. So the man said, use it. And he was just watching to see what she would buy. And then she bought a gift and then sent it to the man. The man said, all along, he was just testing her to see how she would spend.
Don't come and test me. Don't come and test me.
For you, baby. That's how people will just take the test and, you know.
So you have a situation where you take a lady for lunch or dinner, and she wants to prove to you her capacity to order food. You see, sometimes little things.
Yeah.
Okay, so the man takes you to a restaurant and he orders fried rice with chicken. And you started listing calamari, some bolognese. Do you have this? Do you have that? And then you spread the table. He's looking at you, looks like, okay.
This is the kind of
woman I'm going out. So you see, but just watch what the man is ordering.
Yeah.
Ordering something like that. He will go home, tell his friends that myself and the lady, we think alike.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yes.
interesting.
He will
That's
say we
interesting.
think alike.
Because I think the money conversation, and if you ask me, this is recent, I'm just thinking about it, I'm like, people don't have this conversation a lot.
Yeah.
They don't ask people, so for instance, media ladies, we've seen, let me use my sister as an example, and she would agree, she would not kill me for it. But Lamudi just got married a few months ago.
Yes.
And she was on the Grammys, she was on the BET right after her wedding, and she's at the Global Citizen. And one will ask, all of a sudden, like, did you even do your honeymoon and whatnot? But I assume that it's because she got married to a man who understands her craft, believes in it, and wants to invest in it, and married her with her craft. Some men don't like that. They feel like, oh, my main worry, no, I'm rich enough. Because there was a man that told me that, me, when I marry you, you stop this media work. I said, okay, me too, I will not marry you because I will not stop this media work. And, I said that to myself, and I ended the conversation over there because I believe that he doesn't even believe in what I am doing. He doesn't think it will grow into anything proper, so he wants to change that. Those kind of conversations, I want to know if they are important conversations to have before you get this one, or it's like you're rushing the person.
No, they're very important conversations to have with your partner when it comes to your life aspiration, your visions, your goals. You need to talk, you need to talk about these things. There's no time when you're quiet about it. You need to talk about it. That's why marriage is ultimately supposed to be purpose-driven. So why are you both getting married? To help one another achieve your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. So you need to talk about it. And for me, I would say the red flag is when it doesn't align. Like the person you probably met. When it doesn't align and he wants you to stay home and you really feel like you're passionate about media and you want to get at it.
And Prof, because you're a man, I want to add this. So our Ghanaian men are very passionate about their kids. And it'd be like, so one of the things he raised was that, so if you're doing media, you're traveling, you're getting all these big gigs, when children come in, who takes care of them? I believe that I can be the other parent, but it's better because of where the world is going to, both parents are in their lives. Do you think that's the right conversation? That's the right something he said, or what do you make of this kind of conversation?
Yes, what I believe is that the Bible said, and the two shall become one. So regarding every decision, we should all have a point where we all agree.
Yeah.
So you may disagree, but then at the point where all of us agree that this is the best thing, okay? Because we cannot achieve compatibility until we are able to discuss everything for all to align with our purpose. So what I would say is that, yes, how you want to raise your family is a discussion. The problem is that when we are courting and dating, we tend to talk about very unnecessary things. We talk about celebrities. We talk about what's going on. We talk about what's trending. We talk about, oh, how is your cat? How is your dog? No, at a courting level, you discuss serious issues. Yes, that's when you put the roadmap for your marriage together. So you don't get into marriage and start wondering, okay, so what are we doing about this? What are we doing about that? You've had all those conversations, so the blueprint is there.
Yeah.
The benchmarks are there.
Yeah.
But
So
Prof, I want you to let's digress that. Let's get into it, okay? Because sometimes we generalize it, as you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the things that we would regard as the pertinent things that we're supposed to look into as part of the roadmap and the blueprint? Because yes, you said it. They'll be discussing so many unnecessary things. So let's just remove all those unnecessary things there, and let's get into the real things. What are
Important
these things that you're supposed to look at?
So that's one of them. Your career goals. You have to discuss. You need to discuss your career goals.
Okay.
Why are we discussing it? Because we are in the partnership to see that each of us flourishes in this partnership. This partnership is not supposed to suppress the other. No, we are all supposed to grow in achieving our dreams and aspirations. So therefore, you should talk about your goals.
Okay.
It's very, very important. Your financial goals, you should talk about that as well. You should also talk about family, how to raise your kids.
Yeah.
You should talk about where you would want to settle. There are sometimes two people married, the other one say, I'm traveling to Canada. I'm going to stay in Canada. We didn't discuss this. So you should, where both of you would want to live and raise your kids, the community would want to, you should discuss it in the future. Would you want to be in Ghana? You wouldn't want to be in, because I handle a lot of issues. And it's about, they just got married and somebody had the opportunity to travel, and then it's creating a lot of confusions.
Okay.
A lot of confusion. So that discussion should happen. You don't wait until you're married and then start figuring out what to do about that.
Okay.
Yeah. You have something to
Do you
add?
have
Well, I'll just add maybe even the number of children.
Yeah.
It looks like once people get into marriage, before they make that decision. But once you are setting your financial goals, then you can actually plan for the number of kids you want to have as well.
And she was in UK. She came down.
Yes, and now I can't even go back.
She
It's-
came down from UK.
Yeah. The
Okay.
sacrifices.
So I'm just getting the communication right now, and they're
So
still
you guys
still on
discussed
that
and
end.
come down.
Yes.
You agree.
Yes.
For you, what did it feel like?
Well,
Changing.
it honestly felt like I couldn't just get up and do what I used to do anymore. But then we understand that, we're building something we're in together and we're a team.
Did you love it?
I do. But I know that sometimes I'll be going and coming.
This one there, hints for you.
No, but I'm
You're
getting
going and
the
coming.
communication too. At a point where things were decided that, this is how it's going to be. And then we've all accepted it.
Yeah.
Then we get to a point where it's supposed to happen. And one person is now feeling a little bit dicey about it. How do you work over this? Because it's something we all agreed towards it.
You need counseling.
Okay.
You need counseling. You see, we do premarital counseling, but we don't do post-marital counseling.
Yeah.
It's also very important because it's a journey you've not been through before.
Yeah.
That's the first time. And forget about all the dating, the courtship. When you get into marriage, the first stage is the reality stage.
Yeah.
That's when everything hits at you.
Like, oh my God,
I'm inside.
I'll not go home again. For the rest of my life. I don't have anywhere to go.
Yes.
So you need post-marital counseling to accept the situation as it is. And then it also helps you to resolve some of these little things. So it's very important. And number two, you also need prayer.
Yeah.
You need prayer. You need prayer because the first person who ordained marriage, who blessed the couples, was God. Which couples? Adam and Eve. Genesis chapter 1 and 2. Genesis chapter 3, it failed. The Bible says serpent came into the garden. So the serpent is always after marriages. Yes. So marriages break not 10 years after, not 20 years after. If it will break, it breaks from first week, first month, first 3 months. That's when it breaks. When the reality hits you like that, and you don't know how to handle it, it set a foundation, a wrong foundation for you, the two of you being together. You start talking to your friends more than your spouse. You start confiding in your parents more than your spouse. When these things, you introduce these things within the first and second month of your marriage, you've laid the wrong foundation.
And just to add to that, oftentimes it's the third party that comes in to mess things up. Once you invite other people in, because if you have conflicts and both of you can amicably resolve it, it makes it easier. But once I probably come and talk to you, you advise me, I don't think what he's doing is good, you know, then it's up here.
It's established.
Then you also give me your opinion. So the external factors confuse like one person in the partnership, and then it tends to affect both of them. So you notice that it's not really about
the two of you. Because if it's up for the two of you, you can try to resolve.
Exactly. But once external factors come in,
so for you, completely shut out the noise.
Completely. I don't talk. I don't have friends. He's my friend. Yeah, he's he's everything.
And there's no third party between us.
There's no third party.
When you guys have, because I presume that you have had an intense moment where this looked like, oh my God, how did we get here? Like, it was so intense. How did you resolve it at this dating stage? Because I do remember, if I remember your story, you were working for him, like, you know, as an admin.
Yeah.
So did you ever think at the stage of dating that, no, we'll already come too far, but this is wrong? Or this looks scary. Not this is wrong, this is scary.
This is scary.
And how did you resolve that?
I really don't think I got to a place like that. Yeah, it was quite peaceful and, you know, manageable.
Is it?
He's a nice person, so it was nice.
I mean, you're a princess. Each and every one themselves. I love that. I love that. Do you also think that we should be looking for compatibility, even when it feels like it's too late? So, for instance, we've dated for like now 3 months. They're getting married. So we've gone through the stages of counseling. I've heard a counselor tell me that counseling stages, and he said, you know, this marriage will not work. They didn't know that it would not work, but they met the counselor once or twice. They're like, no, all these things that they're saying that will happen in marriage, I'm not ready for it. And the man backed out, and then they decided to separate. Do you feel like stages like that are critical to build the strength in a relationship, or you can't actually decide to break up because of the scary things that are being thrown at you?
Okay, so, I mean, when God created Eve for Adam, and Adam woke up out of his sleep, he said, this is indeed the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. So the bone meaning that there was just something inside that made them compatible. He just felt like this is the person I align with. Sometimes let's really not force things. If you just feel like it's not aligning, let's not force it. But I mean, if there's a way to resolve and go about it, can always find it. Yeah, but
and it's wrong to think that, oh, when we get married, it will change. She will change. People don't change when they get married. If the person will change, the person will change before getting married to you. So he's a cheater. He cheats. He's been cheating on you. You believe that once you put the ring on his finger, or once she put the ring on your finger, the person will change. No. It's better to break courtship than to break marriage. So therefore, I advise people, if at the point of counseling or courtship, you realize that it's not going, just be very honest and sincere. Don't create drama around it. I don't think that relationship should end if it has to with drama. There should be understanding. It's not working for us. Maybe we are not meant to be together.
As hard as it is.
As hard as it is, as difficult as it is.
Can we come back a little bit? Still about the third party issue and family coming in and all that. How do you protect your space?
The family.
Simple as it is. How do you protect your space? Because thing here is, it takes two of us to make it work, all right? And if you believe that one is really attached to your family in one way or the other, then it becomes a problem. So how do both of you protect your space where there's no third party, there's nothing family, no friends, nothing? How do you protect that space?
Okay. So the Bible said the two shall, it said the man and a woman will leave their father, mother, and do what? Cleave. And the two shall become one. So you will not achieve that cleaving and the two becoming one if you create a space for third parties.
Okay.
Because in God's mind, it's supposed to be, the two are supposed to be one.
Okay.
So how do you protect your space? Number one, take responsibility of your space. Take responsibility. It's not boys that marry. It's not girls that marry. It's women that marry. In fact, the Bible says, he that finds a wife. So before you enter into marriage, you must wife yourself.
Please, breathe, pause, and play that one over again. Before you marry, you need to be a wife.
A wife.
Before.
Yes.
Please explain that.
Because you don't marry and learn how to become a wife. You are prepared. So look at Esther. Esther went through 9 months of preparation. In those days, there are certain things that traditionally was created to prepare young girls for the future. So she, from where she's come from, they call it depot.
Yeah.
Okay, depot. Myself, where I come from, is called depot. So they'll take the girls through some preparations, etc. Just with our understanding now, they fuse it with some other spiritual things. So we, but that philosophy is a good one because it is to prepare the person for marriage. Number two, you need to know how to cook. You can't say you want to be a wife and you don't know how to cook. Because a woman must feed her family. A man must provide, the woman feeds. The man provides, the woman takes it, cooks it, prepares it, and feeds her family. So before you enter into marriage, know how to cook, know how to wash. You can't just make your nails long and not know how to wash. So know how to. It's a different thing if we make provisions for other people to help us do all this. But then have the knowledge because you can't supervise what you don't know. So do that. Know how to understand the nature of men or women. Men see respect as love. Women see attention as love. So understand that. The problem between Adam and Eve is that Adam didn't go through growth process. When he was already the guy was a guy as soon as he was created. He didn't go through a process of learning. So he was there. God put him to sleep. God brought Eve to him. He said, this is the bone of my bone and the flesh of my flesh. The next chapter, Adam could not be found. Chapter 3. Eve was talking with a serpent. Where was Adam?
Protection.
Yes, Adam was not there. Women's need, they want security, they want attention, they want protection. So you must be there. Where was Adam when Eve was talking with the serpent and the snake?
I presume being present also can mean that of the covenant, when she's thinking of anybody, you're the first person.
You're the first person.
Because your presence. Like your presence is not physical, but you've registered in their
mind.
Yeah.
So as soon as the serpent comes, Adam.
Michelle guy be
that. You know that this guy has interest in me. Yes, because if you don't have the open communication, whereby you are naked, the Bible said they were naked, okay? It means transparency. If you're not transparent and you hide things, there are telephone numbers on your phone, kakarika. It's not kakarika, carpenter. It's not a carpenter, it's a young lady. Yes, I have a story like that. The guy was sleeping, and then 11:30 midnight, and then carpenter is calling. So the wife just said, which carpenter will be calling
at 11?
Hey!
11:30. 11:30 the other day.
11:30. Yeah. So I believe that there are skills that make marriage work.
Yeah.
Okay. There are skills, and so you learn those skills in anticipation, in preparing. So whilst you are believing God for a partner, you are equipped already.
Okay.
That is what makes
Now
you
let's touch a bit on, there's a recent survey and
Uh-huh.
communication that is going on. There's two ways. One is there are more divorces now because women have started cheating. And a comedian put this together, and I thought it was really funny, but it's actually very interesting. He said men are the ones cheating, but it's women that are scared of DNA. We are saying that men are the ones who are cheating, but it is women that when you ask for DNA, they are running away. How is that a person who is cheating is asking for DNA and you are running away? You is not cheating. So again, there was a survey that in 2024, a lot of married people who have gone to check for their firstborns, most firstborns are not their children. And it has happened one too many times. So so many marriages are failing now because they found out that their first children are not their children.
And it's a rise.
And
We've seen that in so many cases.
Skyrocketed.
Wow.
It's skyrocketed.
What do you think, aside of those who walk into marriage with children, what do you think could be the possible damage? Because I think that is just like the fiber of the family has been broken.
Yeah.
But what do you think could contribute to women exploring themselves like this? And is this something that men should start looking at before settling with any woman?
Prophet should
Look
take
at me.
this because like how?
You are
I'm
blown away.
Oh,
man.
Yes, I mean, and you can understand that, okay? But I think that we are at a point where people are not too sure what they are looking for in a life partner.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's dating 2 or 3 people at the same time.
Hey.
Okay, dating 2 or 3 people at the same time.
Abundance.
And abundance, weighing them. So when you think you are the only person there, you may not necessarily be the only one there. There's another person there, okay? Now, so then what happens is that because of that, oftentimes people marry because the lady is pregnant, okay? Not that they have prepared to get married before getting pregnant. Yes, or giving birth.
Yeah.
So a lot. Listen, I think about 80% of marriages begin with pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yes, begin with. I think it's not.
It's alleged.
Yes, it's alleged. So in a situation like that, I have had experiences where the lady took the pregnancy to one guy. The guy said, "Enyemia." Then when as soon as she left, she went to another guy that I'm pregnant. The guy said, if you knew I was the one, why did you go
The first one.
to the first one? So apparently, as soon as she left the first guy told a friend, and a friend also told a friend, and the guy heard it. So by the time she goes to the guy's place.
Oh, so they knew about each other.
Yes, they knew about each other. So there are those situations whereby somebody says, I am not the one. Then she goes to another person and then goes to another person. As a pastor, we handle these issues. You ask the person who is responsible. And then the person says, this is the person responsible. And very sure. Okay, very sure. Recently, somebody requested for a DNA test. And the lady was not forthcoming. And I said, okay, now tell me the truth. She said, no, I know he is the one, but then I don't need DNA to be sure.
Why don't you need the DNA?
Well, then let's do the DNA.
Let's
do the DNA. And it's become a serious problem. So eventually, the DNA has not been done.
Oh.
The man has not taken responsibility.
Yes.
And the lady wants it like that.
She's okay.
She's okay.
Well, then
She's
she knows
okay.
what she's about. She
knows
knows
what
what it is.
Yeah, she's
Anyways,
The shock on your face.
time is fast spent, but we cannot deal with this without especially when it comes to preparing towards marriage. Not even preparing towards marriage. That's after marriage. It's about intimacy and romance, because thing here is I think that also contributes a lot to the divorce that we are getting a lot, because I think people don't really, just because we have it is due reverence that most definitely you don't need to have sex before marriage. So after that, then you get to find out that okay, this person is maybe too much of a sex person, and this person is not too much of that. So then how do you compromise? And also, we want to touch base. We've had a lot of pastors coming in and we say, yes, with the scripture, that where your body is not for you. The body is for your wife. Your body too is not for you. Your body is for your husband. Can you touch a bit about it? Because this is ongoing, and a lot of people come out and they're like, okay, what's happening to your marriage? It's like, well, when I want to touch my wife says no. So me, I'm a man. I'll go and look for somebody else.
else.
So I'll just come in shortly and then Prophet can take over. So I would say intimacy is actually in like 3 dimensions. So there's the soul, there's the physical, and then there's the spiritual. So the soul is when like you're married, there's the bonding part. You have friends, you connect so much with each other, you have discussions, you talk, like you are just really close. That's like another level of intimacy. And then there's the one that is the physical intimacy, when you touch your partner, you kiss them, you caress them, you do all those things. I'm sure Prophet will talk about that. And then there is the spiritual part, the spiritual intimacy, where you pray together, you study the word together, you just try as much as possible to do things together. So sometimes we just really focus on the sexual aspects whilst leaving like the other parts out.
And if these parts are not in place, you will never enjoy your sex life. Yes, because you see, sex is not just a physical act. It's both emotional. There's a woman that told me that whenever she sleeps with her husband, she has rashes all over her body. That means that, like, she's not emotionally prepared for the husband. And so she has a problem. So I believe that these parts are very, very important. Getting yourselves emotionally ready, psychologically ready, and spiritually ready. We whenever we are bypassing each other, we tap each other. We want to feel connected. So that is all. At home, you are passing, you just tap. What are you doing? We just tap each other. Okay, it builds little connections.
Yeah.
We eat together.
Yeah.
It builds little connections, and so many other things. But if you don't feel satisfied, you should talk about it. You should have open communication. Okay, there are a lot of things to do with that. Sometimes it's based on orientation. You see, how people grew up, what they saw, they think that's how marriage is supposed to be. So maybe that's how their father, you grew up in a polygamous home, your father controls his emotions because he can't express himself so well to one person and the other person thinks that he's loving this person more than. So my father was married to 4, okay? And I always see him. From work, he will sit in the middle. Everybody, he will sit in the middle. He alone. So he'll be there. The one who is supposed to serve him will serve him. After he's always alone. He's always alone. Now, when it's time to sleep, it's intense. So if my mother's turn 1 week, after my mother's turn, another person's turn 1 week. So the only time you see them together is when he's going to sleep. That whoever's turn it is will go and spend the night with him. So that's how it is. So he grew up. I grew up seeing my father really not expressing love to his wives, and I don't want that to be my story. I want to build a very powerful bond with my wife. That's how God wants it. The most beautiful thing in this world it's a wonderful marriage that fulfills a divine purpose and agenda.
I love listening to this couple. I love watching them because sometimes when you're watching them, it's like, they look at each other when the other is talking. They really do have that bond, and it's beautiful. It's always a delight to hear you throw in your wisdom on conversations like this. How, for someone who is thinking of getting married, who is thinking of what kind of help and guidance are there? Let's wrap up with that and give us some, connections. That's social media handles, whatever, how we can get connected to you.
Are we getting a book?
Today there's no book.
Today there's no.
No. Are we getting a book? Like, is there
out
a
of
book preparation?
out of this conversation, a book will come.
A book will come. Hey, Jkd AM Club.
Yes.
Nice one.
You acknowledgement, and I'll forward.
Yes, you forward it.
Forward.
Yes.
Please.
So I would say that people who are looking forward to getting married or finding that life partner should really seek guidance, should gain the knowledge. I feel like there's so much to know about relationship that people don't know, and about marriage, and something you clearly don't know, you can't navigate to have it successful. So I encourage you, Prophet, as for Prophet, he's been counseling for years. So you can always book an appointment. We're at Family Altar Ministry, East Legon, to see the man of God. My number is 0549 655 271. 0549 655 271. Don't be confused. Just gain the knowledge and you'll be fine.
Thank you.
Yes, so this is what I was saying. You see, the packaging is very beautiful. Aqua gold. Very beautiful. Blue, white combinations. Very, very beautiful. Okay. But the real thing is not the package. It's the water inside. Now imagine you buy this and then the water inside is bitter. Will you be happy? No. Will you drink it? No. What will you do to it? You throw it away. You don't need it. So the most important thing about this is the content, not the packaging. The content, not the packaging. Why do we buy perfume? Because of the content, not the bottle. No matter how beautiful the bottle is, you throw it away. So therefore, when you are entering into marriage, understand that it's about the content and not the packaging. It's about what is inside. So build what is in you. Build your inside qualities, because that is the real thing. It's not the packaging, okay? If I say the packaging like this, I hope you understand. Okay, it's not just
the packaging.
So,
I do.
So basically,
Packaging,
that is it, because it's the content that people are looking for, not the outward packaging.
Oh, man.
So I guess your number is your number.
Your number is
your number. Thank you
They
so
should
much,
call us.
Lady and Prophet, for coming through. Like I said, it's always a delight to have you here. I love listening to you both. They're so cute. Oh my God. All right, so we're plugging into something really exciting right after this. I hope you learned. I hope you were able to pick a thing or two to guide you in what to do if you're preparing for marriage this year. We'll be right back after this.